I used to listen to a radio station, I think it was Saturday night, NPR, when Garrison Keillor did his show, The Pure Prairie League Companion. And as part of the show, he'd sing a lot. He had a pretty marginal voice, and he'd talk a lot. And then he'd tell the story about Lake Wobegon. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he would go off into a 10, 15-minute monologue, which I know wasn't scripted. It would be impossible to script all the directions that he went. It wasn't a teleprompter. He was like a preacher that was up in the pulpit, just speaking from his heart as words just bubbled out from him. And he had a lot of problems with religion too. He actually, biographically now in real life, grew up in a fundamentalist type environment that his sister said didn't bother her, but he made a lifelong deal out of it. And that was part of it, his anti-scrupulosity campaign. But Garrison Keillor, yeah, I read the book Lake Wobegon, and it's very, very depressing. The monologues that work so well on radio don't work well at all in the print form. You know, it's just, it's so depressing about the founders and the problems of the founders and who was doing this to whom and what was happening. But his storytelling it was simply unmatched, and I tried to study it and a little bit and incorporate some of his segues and how he can move from one direction to another. So anyone who remembers Pure Prairie Home League Companion on NPR, I don't think it's on. I know it's not on anymore, but I also saw the movie, which was just kind of marginal. The best thing of all was his monologues about Lake Wobegon. And as I think of stories from my childhood, whether it's riding a bike to T-ball or going to elementary school. Here's a good story. I was going to elementary school, and we switched schools, which we often did. And so in third grade, I was in a brand new district, a brand new place from second grade. And they had done the SRA readings forms, which is a crap form to learn how to read. And so the pads were passed out, the pamphlets were passed out to everyone, and you were a color according to how good of a reader you are. And I just stood there for about 10 seconds and then totally panicked. Remember, I'm like 7 years old, and then just started crying. Just crying like a baby. And the teacher's aide or the intern, whoever was there, the young woman, didn't seem to have much compassion. She just kind of simply showed me how to do it, and I wished her well and she wished me well. But you have a lot of embarrassing experiences throughout school, and one of the most embarrassing experiences I ever had was when I didn't have problems having an erection. And this is a constant problem, and I think half of today's attire is to avoid this. The long flannel shirts, which aren't new, that was done when I was in high school. And I had this huge erection, and I had to get from one side of the library to the other side of the library, to the door that led to the classrooms. And I thought, man, what am I going to do? I got to go. This erection isn't going away. So I pushed it like straight up in my pants. So my pants were like this, covering, and the erection was pushed straight up. And this poor girl, I won't tell her name, she was a few years younger, just opened her mouth and stared at me the entire trip across the library. And I didn't find it comical. I found it quite scaring and disturbing at the time. And that would definitely go in the all 100 embarrassing moments, getting busted with a bulging erection standing straight up. All right.